New at noon, DeKalb County commissioners have extended a moratorium that restricts new development of data centers. The current moratorium expired today. Atlanta News First Niamani Watson is live in Decatur, where a meeting is happening right now. Niamani, a lot of people showed up to give their opinions.
That's right. The room was packed with residents. Many who spoke out today say they ultimately oppose the development of data centers despite a moratorium in place. After over an hour of public comment, the DeKalb County commissioners voted to extend the moratorium restricting new data center applications for 6 more months. Commissioners say extending the moratorium will allow enough time to gather more information about the impact data centers will have on communities. More than a dozen residents spoke out today worried about data centers negatively impacting their health, environment, utility bills, and quality of life. Many are also against the proposed 1 million square foot data center in Ellenwood that the county has currently put on hold. Even though the board approved an extension, some residents say it's just prolonging the issue and ignoring the fact that many residents do not want data centers in their communities at all.
We don't want them. So I don't really understand how extending them, regulating them, adding additional regulations for them, asking a friend, calling down to taking a field trip. I don't understand what it's going to take for you all to realize we don't want them.
Commissioner Ted Terry also recommended increasing the 2026 budget to fund an independent study on the impact of data centers. Live in Decatur, I'm Niamani Watson, Atlanta News First.